Hey Guardians, I'm Cornholio, and I am the host of the Destiny Show podcast, and you're listening to the Download Weekly Gaming News Podcast.
Robots Radio presents
Rated M for mature.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Download Weekly Gaming News. We are here. My name is Jameson.
And my name is Brenna.
And we've been pretty much dicking around the last hour and a half getting
Oh
ready
my
to
God.
record for this.
Yeah, I mean, we went down some serious holes in this.
It's
so
all your
you guys
fault.
I'm going to take full responsibility on this one. I came into this one running real red hot, so we'll see how well that translates.
I appreciate you holding yourself accountable.
For now.
Anyway, so we're mixing things up again. So we had as always, website up and running. Go check it out. Good stuff on there, as well as like notes and things like that. We're doing some cool stuff on there. So this week, if you aren't one of our special members, then you didn't see the video post of our conversation with Boris earlier in the week talking about PlayStation 5 on the website. If you want to go watch it, you still can. It's still up there. But so we had Boris, aka Cornholio, from the Destiny Show podcast and the Creator's Edge podcast on, and we talked PlayStation 5. So because it's kind of the biggest story, that's going to come first, and then we're just going to give you all the news. But before we dive into that, we are sponsored. You can help support the show in one of many ways by helping us out. We have some links. We're sponsored by Loot Crate, Gamefly, Green Man Gaming, and NordVPN. All of those services, you get really cool stuff, and it helps us out. I think so. Loot Crate, mystery box service. They have boxes for everybody. They actually just partnered with another big company, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But
I can't either.
Use the link, use the code, you get 15% off. You get a bunch of cool stuff in a mystery box, and we get some of your glorious support. Gamefly is a game subscription service where they mail you games, or I guess give you digital downloads. I don't know how. It probably still mail you games, unless you got that PlayStation digital version, PlayStation 5 digital. That could be a big issue for you. But you get 2 months for the price of one. And again, it supports us. Green Man Gaming is a game sales site. You can buy games on there, usually at a cheaper price, much like Humble Bundle. And you just use our link, and we just get a little bit portion of the games that you buy. And then NordVPN is probably one of the premier VPN services out there. You can sign up for 68% off with our link for 2 years. Pretty great. So
I really want this Rick and Morty one.
I can't do a Pickle Rick voice.
A Pickle Rick! Yeah, no, I try and do the little downward facing lip thing. It cracks me up. Anyways.
So with all of that advertising out of the way, we are going to go ahead and dive straight into our chat room with Boris from the Destiny Show podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to the chat room. This week we are joined once again by Boris, aka Cornholio, from the Destiny Show podcast and the Creator Show podcast. Welcome, Boris.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure, and what an exciting time to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we're doing some big things, and some big things happened today. We had the PlayStation 5 showcase event, and so we're just gonna hone in on that today. So it was a lot of stuff, and at the same time it wasn't. But we're gonna start by talking about some of the games. We got to see some new trailers for brand new games that haven't been announced yet, and we got to see a little bit more of some pre-existing titles. So was there any, before we kind of I'll list off some of the games that were shown, and then we can kind of dive into specific ones. So we got a full trailer reveal with some gameplay footage and cinematics of Final Fantasy 16, which was very exciting. Right at the end, they dropped us a little teaser of God of War 2 Ragnarok. So, two big flagstones in the PlayStation family coming out next year. That's super exciting to see. We got to see some more of Spider Man Miles Morales, which is coming out this holiday. Also, kind of out of the blue, Harry Potter game. That was super unexpected. Set in the 1800s. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm interested to see how they'll work out the spell casting. We got to see another trailer for Resident Evil Village. Still looking very spooky. I don't know if I'll be able to handle that one. We got some more Black Ops Cold War gameplay. They showed us some single player. It's Call of Duty, you know what to expect there. We also got to see some Demon Souls gameplay, which, man, that looks super pretty. Deathloop, they kind of gave us a release window for that, even after they delayed it earlier this year. So we're looking at that maybe late spring next year. They showed us some more Oddworld. We got to see a new Five Nights at Freddy's because, you know, people asked for that. A Devil May Cry 5 special edition for PlayStation 5. uh, Fortnite update because again we asked for that, and then a whole bunch of big changes coming to PlayStation Plus. So that was kind of a lot that I just listed off, but was there anything that jumped out to you guys? I'll open it up to either one of you first. Any particular game that was really grabbed your attention?
I'm gonna let the guest
Oh,
go
so
first, I guess.
I would say for me,
I
I'm
know.
I'm excited to play the new Final Fantasy game, and I'm a big Resident Evil fan. So for me, those two games are definitely games that I will be playing at some point in the not too distant future, hopefully.
I I'm It's pretty hit or miss for me on Final Fantasy. I did enjoy Final Fantasy 15, and I'm a big fan of their MMO Final Fantasy 14. But I gotta say, 16 looked really good, and I like that it's going back to more of the game's medieval roots, for lack of a better term. It almost to me, it looks like a cross between Final Fantasy 14 and 15. So that was super cool. And you know, Resident Evil's been a mainstay, and this just looks Village just absolutely terrifying. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to handle that. What about you, Brenna?
Um, I don't really play any Final Fantasy. Resident Evil, same thing. I love horror games. I love to be support for someone who is playing them and just kind of observe that and then scream. But I guess Harry Potter is going to be the one for me because I love the series and it looks kind of badass. I'm not going to lie. So it's set in the 1600s.
18.
So it's before, oh, sorry, 1800s. Why did I do that? 1800s, before obviously Harry Potter was there and a lot of the main characters, but the way they kind of show scenes that happened in the movie, it was really cool. Like you fight an ogre, which obviously happens in the first one. And so they do little homages to the series, but it looks kind of dark. Like it doesn't look like a PG rated game. It looks like there's actual monsters in there and they look kind of menacing. So I'm really happy to see that. Plus it looks beautiful.
It did look very nice. I'm just, you know, like when you think of Harry Potter, you think of all the spell casting that you can do. And I'm just, you know, on PC, I can see how maybe you can make that a little bit easier to work. You have more real estate to work with. But I'm curious to see how they're going to pull that off on the console.
You know, it'll probably end up being how uh Inquisition was, where you have like another trigger system. So you have your set through your symbols, and then you have the back trigger that allows you to open up another menu of 8 spells. That's not a lot, but at least if you can customize which ones you put in each pocket, that might work.
I can also see them pulling something kind of like The Witcher with their spell casting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
for
that's a good
me,
comparison.
oh yeah, yeah. For me, I gotta say my two my biggest favorite is the Demon Souls remake. I'm kind of a late entry into the Souls franchise. Dark Souls 2 was my first one, and that was incredibly difficult. I then played Dark Souls 3, much more user friendly while still maintaining that level of difficulty, and I absolutely love that. So I'm excited to kind of go full circle, having played all the other Souls games, and now come back to Demon Souls. And I'm lucky enough that I get to play it, in brand new, glorious 4K and remastered. But otherwise, I'm also really looking forward to the Spider-Man game. Um, this is my first PlayStation period that I'll be having, so I'm a lot of exclusives to catch up on. That's for sure.
Did you, Boris, play the first Spider-Man? Well, the first one they recently did.
So I have it, right? I think I got it last year, and I have not had a chance to play. I'll be honest with you. I spend way too much time playing Destiny, and I feel like there's always something to do. So it's like between my Nintendo Switch and my PlayStation and everything else I have, I don't get a chance to play too often. I play a lot of Beat Saber on my PlayStation. That's been my workout during the COVID.
Very
I
nice.
absolutely love Beat Saber.
What's your main system, would you say?
Oh man, PC, hands
PC? Okay.
down. I mean, PC is pretty much where I do most of my gaming today, and it's probably going to remain that way moving forward. Even when PS5 comes out and Xbox Series X comes out, I feel like for me, I mean, being able to have a computer that's that much more powerful, and that's where I have most of my games now, so it makes a lot of sense.
Very cool. Very
But
cool.
there
Well,
are exclusives, right? Like there are games like Spider-Man and God of War, and it's like I want to play those games too.
yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is really up there for
Oh,
me. I'm really excited to play that. That came out earlier this year. The Last of Us, never played any of those. Bloodborne, which is a Souls, it's the same from software. So I've definitely got a lot of catching up to
Yeah.
do. God of War.
See, I have Bloodborne, but
Uncharted
I'm
was
not
an
good enough.
exclusive. Yeah,
Uncharted, yeah.
Uncharted. Yeah, it's a great series, even though it's a little bit older. Um, yeah, I'm definitely gonna end up paying like $500 just so I can play Ghosts and have like a really cool Blu-ray player. That
There you go.
I use it. I use my PlayStation now for Blu-rays, and that's pretty much it.
Well, hey, speaking of pre-orders, they came out earlier today,
That
pretty
was
much. I mean, they for
I've got to say so they announced the price at the end of the show. Everyone pretty much sat through an hour-long conference of trailers just waiting for price and date, which they showed us right at the end. So $4.99 for the disc version and $3.99 for the digital. Pretty on par with what people expected, which is a solid price. And they didn't say anything about pre-orders during the show. Afterwards, about 15 minutes ish later, they just dropped a tweet saying pre-orders tomorrow. And then ever since then, it's just been an absolute mess. You messaged me saying that you got your pre-order pretty soon after the conference. Walmart pre-orders went live. They sold out in 5 minutes. I can't believe you were
really
able to.
5 minutes.
It was 5 minutes.
Oh man. So I have a funny story about how I was able to get mine.
Let's hear it.
Do we have time? Okay. So my buddy Shadow Price, who's my co-host on the Destiny show, he called me and he's like, "Hey, pre-orders are up." So I go on Walmart and he's like, "Oh, but it's only the digital one." And I look up and Wario64 tweeted out, "It's available for the physical one." And it was literally at that second, right? So as soon as he tweeted it out, add to cart, and it glitched out for about like 4 or 5 minutes for me, but I just kept trying. F5,
Mhm.
kept trying, and finally got my order in, and I'm like, holy shit. I was so excited. Can I say that?
Yes, no, you could.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, cool. So I
Yes,
was like really
you're
excited,
good.
just like that day when I got my Gallarhorn. Okay, it's that kind of excitement. Dude, I was pretty stoked because you know what? I can sleep tonight. I don't have to stay up. I can go to work tomorrow and I'll be like, I'm ready for work and I'm awake and I'm not suffering by having to be up till 2 in the morning playing the game of try to get this freaking console. So I'm happy. I got my $4.99 with Blu-ray edition, so I'll be getting that from Walmart. Hopefully they come through. Shout outs. And yeah, that was my experience, and now I just gotta wait for my graphics card and my Xbox, and then we'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah, you're gonna have it all. But yeah, it went live on Walmart just out of the blue after they said tomorrow, and then just like one after another, other places pre-orders started going live. Target already went live. I'm pretty sure Best Buy already went live too after Target. I got an email. So what turned out to be tomorrow, just into all the companies kind of whenever they wanted. Uh, I was going to wait, but I ended up pulling the trigger on one. I did.
I'm glad you got one.
You did
Glad you
it.
got one. That's awesome.
Oh
I had it
my.
refreshing, and I was waiting
Wow.
for notifications, and then I saw Target had it right as you messaged me, Boris, and so I just clicked. I just
Nice.
got in, and it's like, oh, well, you need to make an account. I'm like, oh god. Yeah, so I
I don't have the time.
just clicked, and yeah, I managed to get one. So again, yeah, fingers crossed they actually come through. um,
Great.
but yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. Again,
Awesome, dude. Well, that's exciting.
yeah, we'll have to add each other on PlayStation when
For
we get them.
sure.
Jameson, you're gonna have to add
That's
me
true.
now.
That's true.
Actually, do you remember, Boris, when you first became a PSN member?
Man, that was so long ago. Oh man.
I have like a trophy, I think, for however
I've been a
long.
member for a really long time
It
because actually I started playing, well, I started on Xbox, but then 2 years after I moved to PlayStation because I was frustrated with the party system. That's another story. But so yeah, so I've been with PlayStation for, oh man, it's been like 6, 7 years now. It's been a minute.
You know what? I think I'm gonna one up you because I'm pretty sure it's been
Oh
9 years for
wow,
me.
you are hardcore. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, because that's crazy. That's kind of insane for
You
me,
know what?
actually.
I've actually been a PlayStation PSN member for 3 years.
Okay. Okay.
When the why? How and why? Who did you sign up? When did you sign up
I
and
was at
why?
my cousin's and we were going to I can't remember what we were doing, but I needed to make an account for something that we were doing, and so
It was probably like
I
Jackbox or
think it
something,
was
some party
Jackbox.
game.
So I ended up making the account there, and I couldn't even remember what I don't even know what my PSN name is. Like I couldn't tell you, but I just kind of
It's probably something like Florida Man.
I think I think it was the same as my email. I think it's just Lord Marksman, which you know, I'll
Mm.
have to change that. Needs to be
I hear
bleeped
about
out.
those names.
Oh goodness,
Florida Man and Lord Marksman.
Oh,
we don't need to talk about my my usernames. I've had a lot. They all have
Oh
a
man.
story behind them too. So
Maybe we'll do it one day
I
on the
like
Destiny show.
maybe.
I like your Edge Lord one.
No, listen,
I like that too.
we're not gonna go down this path right now. Um so pre-orders are pretty much sold out everywhere. Uh there has been a PlayStation has denied that they are going to be short units for spring of next year, but despite the story coming from Bloomberg, coming from a manufacturing source. So it'll be curious to see what happens and how quickly they restock with each wave. And it's going to be just an absolutely insane holiday period because it's all coming out 2 weeks before Black Friday. But the biggest question now everyone is asking is how does PlayStation at launch, which comes out 2 days after Xbox, how does it compare to Xbox? Because at the moment, neither game really has launch titles. I think Ratchet and Clank is the only launch title currently for PlayStation 5. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla moved up their release date to coincide with Xbox, though they aren't an exclusive. They're at least a big day one title for people. So that's the big question people are asking. You know, I'm not a console war person. I think, you know, you get whatever works best for you. PlayStation just works best for me because I have everything else on my PC. And thanks to Xbox integrating with PC, I will honestly never need to buy an Xbox again. Um, but what are your guys' thoughts on day one launch and just upcoming games?
I mean, so my thing is everything that has released recently has said that they were going to be backwards compatible with the PS5, or you were going to get free upgrades, or all these other things. So I mean, everything that would have launched with it as its title has already come out. There just aren't any games really. So I don't know that it matters. These games are still pretty new. You know, Ghost came out not too long ago, so and Cyberpunk is coming out. Oh, good lord.
I'm so excited for Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is going to be probably game of the year. I mean, let's
That's
face it.
Yeah.
That
that's
game
our
is
vote.
Yeah.
that's the game I'm really excited to play. And it's actually pretty cool because we will be able to play it on PS5 and Xbox Series X and PC.
Yeah. Yeah, I will definitely be playing it on PC, that's for sure. But
Yeah, I think I will too.
especially if you get that 3080 all set up.
The new
Oof.
Oh
yeah.
man, I can't wait. When is that coming out? Because I need to make sure that I don't miss out.
I'm pretty sure it went live on Monday, but
No,
I didn't see
don't
any
don't say that.
I didn't see any
Don't.
posts though. They announced it when they revealed it, but there was no posts about them
Hmm,
like selling it. So
interesting.
let's see. I'm just doing a quick scan. It look it looks like that might be tonight.
I don't know how many. I mean, they might sell out. It's a decent price for the lower end ones. For the 3070.
Yeah.
I mean, $500 is not bad.
Oh, it looks like it's tomorrow, the 17th.
Okay, starting on the 17th. Okay. Oh man, I'm so excited. Oh, okay, so I am gonna have to stay up. Wow. I'm really happy that we found out that it's gonna be tomorrow, which is like in a few hours. So okay, this is good.
Yeah, it says yeah, Best Buy release date 9/17, so I'm sure that's the same on Amazon and NVIDIA and all that. For Founders Edition. God, it looks so pretty.
Ooh,
Although
okay.
Boris, if you're starting from scratch and getting new supplies, you got to be careful. We're having a shortage on power supplies, so look that up now.
Okay, so I'm probably gonna be good because I went a little overboard with my power supply and really everything else on my computer. I have like top of the line everything pretty much. I have a 750 watt, so I think I'll be
Okay.
pretty okay. And I'm not switching out my CPU because I have a i7 7700K, which I can still overclock it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I'll be all right. I think
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about this.
I think 750 is their recommended for the 380. So I think you're probably good. Yeah, it's definitely going to be quite a intense holiday gaming season. I had something else that I wanted to say, but I can't. Flown out of the brain. But yeah, man,
Let's see.
it's. Go ahead, Brennan.
No, nothing. I think we covered pretty much everything. I mean, release date is 2 days after Xbox, and
Yeah.
I mean, it took us long to finally tell us about it. All right, how about this? What is the one thing on here, excluding Call of Duty, because we already know that you don't care about that, that you didn't really care to see?
I mean, the Fortnite one is speaks for itself, but otherwise, I'd probably say the Five Nights at Freddy's because who asked for another Five Nights at Freddy's
I don't even know. I mean, that was a decently popular game, but I didn't for a second one. I didn't think so.
for a second?
So I'm gonna fire off here. I think
Okay.
that any game that was a smaller game that wouldn't be like, wow, this is like a huge game. it should not have been at that event, because I think that this event is too important for Sony and for PlayStation to not get it right. So I think every single game that we saw during that event should have been blowing your mind. We should have seen Cyberpunk. We should have seen incredible, incredible games that make you think like, wow, what I am playing now is nothing compared to what I'm going to experience this November. And to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't feel that. I felt the Spider-Man game felt like it was just a short game that they had to rush to put out for launch. So in that sense, it was a little disappointing because I think it was a huge opportunity that was kind of missed. But it was really cool to see some of the games that we did see. So
Yeah, that was pretty much my thoughts exactly, is that there was no real wow factor. Everyone was just sitting there for the price. A lot of it was stuff we'd already seen before. Sure, they showed us some cool stuff, but there could have been more, and there should have been more gameplay.
So, one thing Jamie and I have been kind of talking about on the show is the fact that there are so many game shows now without E3 that all these companies are doing. Just every few weeks, they're doing a huge launch and giving us a tidbit here and there. And I don't know, I feel like that devalued this launch, right? Because we didn't get that punch. We already had so many little bits of information and it gets so diluted. I don't know. What are your feelings on that, Boris?
that's a great point. I think that for me, and from a marketing standpoint, I think it's important to have one centralized event where you can build a lot of excitement and hype around it. Because I think just them putting out a trailer once in a blue moon, it doesn't always create enough traction for them, and I think that it's been a tough year, especially from the development standpoint, and I think that Sony had to make a really tough decision. Do we come out with this console now with the limited games that we can launch from the start, or do we push back the release? And they obviously went with the monetization option here, and that's why pre-orders are live, right?
Do you think that as consumers, people just didn't buy new games and were waiting for the PlayStation 5? Because that's kind of where I was and why I didn't get an upgraded PlayStation or just, buy these games because I was waiting for the new consoles to drop.
Yeah, we knew that it was coming. I don't think that there was anything major that was really released in the last, I would say, 3-4 months. I mean, Ghosts of Tsushima was one of them, and The Last of Us Part Two, which was a little controversial, right? So they didn't have that many big releases to begin with, and I also think we're living in a really unique time where people want to be entertained, and people aren't going out. People aren't spending money on going to restaurants as much or going out to the bars. So naturally, you have more disposable income to buy video games, and that's why Nintendo is crushing it right now with what's that game? Animal
Animal Crossing.
Crossing. There we
Yep.
go.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Well, this has been a excellent discussion. Apart from me losing my train of thought there. So, Boris, before we take off, tell us a little bit about what you've got cooking on both of your shows now. You got two shows, and let everyone know again where they can find you in the interwebs.
Well, we don't have two shows yet. I'm still developing it each and every day as I go along, so I'm learning and developing as I go, but I'm hoping to launch it in January or sometime before then. It's a new podcast called Creator's Edge, and it's going to be an interview podcast with some of the coolest and some of the smartest marketers and business minds in the world. So I'm really excited about that. And I have another podcast that I may be starting as well called The Creator School. And that came from the desire to really help people start a podcast and get out there and do something that's a little daring and to put themselves out there and do something cool. So stay tuned. It's gonna be really exciting.
Very cool, very cool. And I know you've been doing big things with the Destiny show, that you recently hit your 50th episode, and you had on Glad, who's probably one of the largest Destiny streamers. So that's quite a milestone for you as well.
Yeah, I'm really proud of what we do with the Destiny show, and that's kind of my passion project. It's something that, was my first podcast. It was my baby. So it's something that I think developed into a podcast for the community where we can showcase content creators big and small, where we give everybody the opportunity to be seen and be heard, and we get a chance to share their stories without any limits, right? We go pretty long. We can go 3 hours, and I don't mind it. And if that's what it takes to really bring out what this guest is all about, then that's what it's all about. And I'm really excited about that. And we're going to have some really amazing guests coming up too. We're going to have Dan Finity from Planet Destiny on tomorrow. So make sure to check it out. DestinyShow.com and twitch.tv/The Destiny Show. And we got
Very
new
cool.
graphics too. So
Very, very cool. Well, again, thank you very much for coming on and joining us. And like he mentioned, he's the Destiny Show. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find his podcast wherever you listen. Thank you again so much, Boris, for joining us tonight.
thanks so much for having me on.
And we're back. We had a really good conversation with Boris. I'm not going
It
to
ended
say
up
it.
being much quicker. Yeah, I was gonna say, are you gonna do it or not?
No.
It ended up being much quicker than I thought it would. Boris is notorious for having like 3 hour long conversations on his podcast.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's
You
very
did it.
he's very I did do it. Damn it. He's very passionate. And so that comes across when you're speaking to him, that he will talk for a while about the subjects he's very passionate about. And as do we. We tend to ramble quite often.
Don't
Uh,
lump me in with you. We ramble. This guy.
this is a team effort right here. Take
This is
some
a team effort.
accountability.
I'll take accountability for the fact that I do about 30% of work, if that. That's generous.
I
That's
appreciate that.
generous. Yeah.
I appreciate you being accountable. I don't know if I'm comfortable with how accountable you're being right now.
I know, right? I feel like there's something bad coming. It's like one
I
of those things
do.
where watching
I
a
do.
movie.
You're not a sharer. So this is disconcerting.
It has nothing to do with nothing to do.
It definitely never
No.
has anything to do, because you're not a sharer. I've been with you
No.
several times when we've done many things. And you're
I'm
not
a
a sharer.
locked box. No, I'm a
Anyway,
locked box.
moving on. So we had a great discussion about the PlayStation 5 event, but there was a couple more stories that we wanted to kind of follow up on after. There's been kind of this lurking rumor that the PS5 will not meet their manufacturing targets for 2021, that they're going to fall 4 million units short. Sony has come out and adamantly denied that, and even stated that they are increasing their manufacturing targets due to demand by 10 million, I think.
Yeah, 10 million units. So Bloomberg originally came out with the article, and Sony then said that they never released any information about manufacturing and their units, and they doubled down and said that we are actually projected to have 10 million units, which is more than they said
Well,
that they were
of
going to
course
have.
they didn't release any. It was a source coming from one of their manufacturing centers. But again, it's a lot of speculation. It's a lot of he said, she said. The only thing that's actually going to matter is if the consoles get into the hands of gamers that want them.
I mean, that's already a problem right now.
Yes, it certainly has been. What's the word of the episode? Kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle? I can't. This first broken promises. God Lord. Yeah, a writer used kerfuffle to talk about PS5 and their
He was
releases.
very upset. Just the
So
whole article. Very upset.
everything. So mad. Good Lord. So I guess one of the things that this person was salty about was the fact that PlayStation talked about exclusive titles that will be coming out with the PlayStation 5. And then later, PlayStation said this is all going to be compatible with PlayStation 4. So, like Miles Morales, the new Spider Man game, and then Horizon Forbidden West also will be playable on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, they'll be releasing PlayStation 4 versions of the game and PlayStation 5 versions of the game, which, as a company, you can never just do, when you upgrade products, you can never just do a hard end. You can't just
Yeah.
simply cut people off who are using the old stuff. You've got to wean it out. Now, them saying that they plan to support the PS4 for another 2 to 3 years, that's a bit long. When we're talking like games,
It is.
that puts
Think
quite
about
a
a game that came out 3 years ago.
yeah, that puts quite a strain on developers when they have to develop simultaneously for two vastly different systems
Right.
in terms of console specs. In terms of PC specs, that's a whole different level now.
I mean, yeah.
Anyone that remotely ever thought that this generation of consoles was going to be close to PC specs, first off, you're wrong. Console will never get close to PC specs. That's
You're
just
wrong. With
you're
the
just
3000 series coming out, oh my god, you're so wrong.
even before that, you were just delusional. There was
Yeah.
never at any point that a console would be able to compete with a PC. But yes, now with the 3000 series out, like, oof.
Get out of here. I love people do stupid stuff on PC.
They
Like
really
just
do.
dumb. Just like running programs, like running Crisis 10 times over on like a nitro cooled PC. Like they dumped liquid nitrogen into a coolant unit to cool down the CPU and the GPU so that they could run Crisis on like 5 different applications.
Because they can.
Because we can.
So, yeah, this guy was just really salty. Overall, I would say that the PlayStation event, it was nothing special.
No.
And the term that seems to be going around, not just for Sony, but for Xbox as well, is that both Microsoft and Sony have failed to sell next gen.
Do they even need to? It's next gen. They don't have to put any effort into it. People are going to buy it.
People are going to buy it, but I think people are quickly going to realize that they could have waited.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not buying. I mean,
and
you did.
And that's what for the podcast, Brenna. That's
right,
what.
Sure.
But also, I have never owned a PlayStation before. I am not an existing PlayStation customer, so I have a whole backlog of games. So this is a whole new avenue of video games for me that I'm entering into. So yes, the PlayStation 5 specifically did not sell me. PlayStation itself sold me.
Right. All the previous titles that are on PlayStation 4 that you will get to play on PlayStation 5, like Last of Us, like God of War, like all the major titles.
Yes, Bloodborne, all of it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here
Uncharted.
for.
We gotta play Uncharted. It's such a good game.
Maybe.
Seriously.
We'll see.
It's good. It's a puzzle game. It's good.
I need to
anyways.
start writing down the games because I keep forgetting ones, like Days
Don't
Gone.
worry.
Like Days
I got
Gone is
you.
one that I always
I
forget.
have that.
Do you?
So I won't. Yeah, I do actually.
It's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. There's really nothing at launch that says buy these, especially since they're all going to be available on
PlayStation.
your current gen.
Yeah, well, and they are going to be for the next 2 years, is what they said.
2 to 3, yeah.
So 2 to 3 years. I mean, if you want to run it in the pretty 4K, or they say 4K rendered or upscaled.
Yeah, we're gonna.
We'll see.
We'll
and
see.
I love people that get, this beautiful, console, and they get this great game that's rendered beautifully, and then they have like this crappy $100 TV that
Right.
can't even run the graphics that it's outputting.
I'm not gonna lie. The games are going to look really great on console. They'll look better than any other console. But whenever they're always like, oh, 4K, it's like, okay,
no.
I have a $1,200 cell phone. I have a $1,200 computer. These can barely run 4K. The phone definitely can, but the computer barely can. And you're telling me on a $400 machine, you're gonna bring me 4K? Like
4K. 200K, son.
Shh, don't know.
You know what's still making me mad is that $200 SSD. Get the
It's
flying
it's
F.
for the Series X. Just you need to chill out about
I
that.
can't get over it. Who pays $200? Are you? Anyways,
Overall, the PlayStation 5 is, I think it's gonna be fine. I
I think
think
so too. I mean, if we can deal with everyone buying the crap out of these, all these bots and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's an issue that's not just exclusive to PlayStation. It's happened with NVIDIA, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But Sony apologized, which is, Sony rarely apologizes about anything. So they apologized about the pre-order kerfuffle.
I
And
love kerfuffle now.
it is. And so they took to Twitter and they said, let's be honest, PS5 pre-orders could have been a lot smoother. We apologize for that. Over the next few days, we will release more PlayStation 5 consoles for pre-order. Retailers will share more details, and more PS5s will be available through the end of the year. That was the right thing they needed to say, because it was a mess. They forgot to include the pre-order date, time, all that info in their presentation that they had to tweet that after the fact. And then about an hour after that, Walmart was just like, F you, man, pre-orders are live now.
It's open season. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah. And then pretty much everyone else was like, well, if Walmart's doing it, hell yeah, man, I'm in. I don't know why. I just
You went full Joe Dirt on me.
hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So
We're losing it already.
Yeah, it kerfuffle, appropriate word.
That's appropriate for this.
Charlie Foxtrot,
Yeah.
also pretty appropriate.
Yeah, and I love the response, not direct response from Microsoft, that they very politely said, "We're releasing on this date at 9 a.m. on all retailers." Very okay, they screwed up real bad, and we're not going to do that.
Which Microsoft, ever since they announced their pre-order date, they've always been pretty on top of it. But this was just another way for them to hammer in the point that it's like, it's going to be clean and orderly. This ain't going to be no PlayStation 5 pre-order kerfuffle, like Wild West over here.
Hey, man, we're shooting in the Wild West. Yeah, I mean, I love Sony because I've had Sony and PlayStation for a while. But honestly, they've dropped the ball quite a bit in the last few months, just on a lot of, on exclusive titles, on the PlayStation 5, on not releasing information. It's just, I love them and I don't want to not love them. And so right now, Microsoft is honestly, I never thought I would say this. I'm starting to like Microsoft more than I like Sony.
Well,
just with the way that they're turning.
Yeah, especially since Sony, with this generation, they double down on traditional consoles. Like, they are
Which
not.
is fine for me.
But yeah, but what my point is they doubled down on traditional consoles. They are not expanding. They are not diversifying their brand. They are all in on this, and for them to mishandle it the way they did is not good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft can afford the mishandle because they are expanding Xbox
into the PC.
Xbox
right.
is now beyond console. Xbox is cloud gaming. Xbox is Game Pass. Xbox is PC. Xbox is console. It's not just console anymore.
And the funny thing is, because honestly, it seems like they don't give a shit. I cussed, whatever. They don't care about the shape of this console. They don't care about really making that big of a deal about their console, and in not caring so much about it and just, here it is, this is what we're doing, they're doing better than PlayStation.
PlayStation 5 is also the largest console ever made.
It's absolutely massive, and I understand why people don't think it looks good. Whatever. And they kind of messed up the pre-orders and a lot of other things. And so, yeah, Microsoft doesn't seem like they care too much.
I'm ready to install my Sony Tower of Sauron.
Hey, man, if you want to print out, a Sauron eye.
I'm not here for the Microsoft fridge.
It really is. It's
a block. It's only the size of a banana.
I'm sorry, what?
You
Oh,
don't
the
remember
width of a banana. I
length.
remember that.
Length.
Length of a banana.
Yeah. That
I
was like
remember
the
that.
greatest post ever. Is people were like, man, it's like the size of a fridge, and they just casually posted a picture of it next to a banana. Like,
You know, there was some like intern, the dumb intern at Microsoft was like, let's put it next to a banana. And they were like, great idea.
anyway, moving along. So NVIDIA also had a rocky launch for their 380 graphics card, and pretty much there it led to people speculating that were the cards even offered for sale because there was such a difficult people had such a difficult time getting their hands on them. There's plenty of videos out there of the NVIDIA store going live, and literally in less than 1 millisecond, like less than one frame, it went from unavailable because it hadn't gone on sale yet to sold out. Like people just couldn't click. And so it turned out that NVIDIA, among with many other retailers, including Newegg, were just hit by a massive wave of scalpers and bots that bought up all of the stock. So NVIDIA has issued a statement saying, they're super sorry about that they were overwhelmed. Their store was overwhelmed by these bots and scalpers. The scalpers are all over, trying to sell their cards that they haven't even yet received yet, but because they have the order for the item, they're just going to turn around. And so NVIDIA, Newegg, and other retailers are manually reviewing all the orders and canceling any order that isn't legit, that they don't identify as a legitimate customer, which is great. That's exactly what you need to do when you have a kerfuffle like that. And gamers who are frustrated with the scalpers on eBay have taken to trying to drown out their listings by posting fake listings. So where like they're posting, like they're drawing like really terrible drawings of the
3,000, yeah.
console, or they're posting like I saw one where they wrote 380 on a piece of toilet, like a toilet paper thing. Or like, so they're trying to like hide the listings so people don't buy them. And then one gamer even took it to the next level to
I
where
love
he
this.
created bots that would go and drive the price up to exorbitant amounts, because some of these are selling for like
I was gonna
$5,000,
say
$6,000.
the starting price for some of them are $1,700, which is $1,000 more than it actually costs.
Yeah, and so part of the people say part of the problem is that people are willing to pay the $1,700 for the $700 card. Well, yeah, that's because they can't buy the $700 card when it goes on sale. So their only option is left to buy from these scalpers. So people have gone to the extent of putting in either using bots or doing it themselves, of driving up the bidding on the scalpers to exorbitant prices. So one, no one will actually buy them. And two, once the bidding expires, they just don't,
They don't pay
yeah,
because it's a bot and it's just a random account, and who cares if that gets messed up?
and so when it doesn't get bought, then the person has to close the listing and relist it and start all over again. So they're doing whatever they can to annoy these scalpers and prevent them from actually completing
Making
orders.
sales, yeah. Which is, I mean, that's some Robin Hood type stuff, and you are doing noble service out there.
Indeed.
Yeah, I can't stand this, and PlayStation did have a little bit of trouble, and they tried to stop this by saying only one household could buy from, each retailer, but then obviously you can buy it from multiple retailers, and they had the issue of people buying it from Target, from Walmart, from Best Buy, from all these other companies, and then being able to sell them.
Well, especially
It's
when
just you front so much money too.
yeah, and especially when all the pre-orders didn't go live at the same time, made it real easy for people to sit there and be like, "All right, done with Walmart. Who's next?" and just wait and see. But
Those are the type of people that approach you just like you didn't ask at all, but they just start talking to you about the stock market. And they're like, "Hey man, like look, you need to invest right now cuz I just made 2 grand. I'm standing here, I made money. Are you making money?" And you're like, "Bro, I don't know who you are and you need to get out of my face."
So the big test will be when the 3090 launches this week on September 24th. If NVIDIA has learned anything from last time, and if they've added CAPTCHA to their order system. So, fingers crossed they block the bots. With that, we're going to go ahead and plug along to some of our smaller stories. I think we'll probably go through this actually pretty quickly. So the Fall Guys developers have quietly initiate over the last month. It's now become a lie. It's now
Get your words, Jameson.
it's now come out, but they quietly slipped in a cheaters island, they called it. But basically, anytime they identified a cheater and they didn't necessarily ban them from the game, they just designated to them their own little specific queue. So it was all the cheaters playing against each other in little games, which is the great way to deal with it.
Humiliating.
That their goal was to teach them that cheating isn't fun by pairing them up against other cheaters.
It must have been the stupidest games.
Right? Like I wonder how many games it took them to realize that they were in lobbies with nothing but other cheaters.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope pretty quick, as soon as, the gun goes off, everyone just flies across the damn map.
Right. EA released a little CGI short called Hunted, which is meant to be like a prequel to the upcoming game Star Wars Squadrons. And I gotta say, it was a pretty cool little video. It's not like a trailer or anything. It's literally just like a little mini movie. And
I mean, it looks great. It looks so good. I know so many people.
I've been saying this for years.
That you need one. Another one. I know.
That they could just make a Star Wars animated show of this kind of video quality. No one would complain. No one would be upset.
It looks so good. And I'm not kidding. I mean, I have friends. Actually, most of my friends don't play video games, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I'll be watching things sometimes or looking at a trailer and they look over my shoulder. They're like, oh, what movie is that? I'm all, this is a video game trailer. And it just looks so freaking real. The graphics, the reflection, things like that, it looks so good.
Yeah, it always makes me sad though, because the trailers are always so much better than the
yeah, I mean, because they spend a ton of money on rendering this, 6-minute, 7-minute trailer or short film.
EA is also rebranding their PC image, so they're done with Origin. Why they ever started with Origin to begin with, I don't know. So now it's just going to be called the EA Desktop app, which it should just be called the EA app. Like, why do you need to throw desktop in there?
It doesn't make any sense.
And additionally, they are rebranding Origin. Origin will now replace its Origin's even going away, so it's now like their the EA the Origin Access that it used to be is now just EA Play or EA Play Pro.
The whatchamacallits and the whatchama things.
See, I can't even keep their names straight, so it's a good thing they're simplifying it all. This was probably one of the most exciting pieces of news this week, at least for
I want
us.
to shake the crap out of my microphone. It's so hard not to cuss right now.
Well, tell us about it.
The greatest place on Earth, Disneyland, is not the happiest place on Earth. I will tell you right here and right now, IKEA is the happiest place on Earth. And if you want to fight me on this, I am ready to go. You get yourself a venti iced coffee from Starbucks, and you tell me that walking into this place is not the happiest place on Earth with that, you're wrong. Totally wrong. And Asus has decided to pair up with IKEA to create things and give us more gaming equipment. Desks, chairs, probably. Desk accessories. Could you imagine the amount of accessories?
Gaming geared furniture to bring victories from the bedroom to the basement.
I can't.
I don't like
everything.
That.
I don't either. That's a little suggestive. I'm
very excited about this pair up. And IKEA itself is wonderful. It's when you get IKEA home that it becomes much less wonderful when you have
You
to
know,
do the setup.
I've built far too many IKEA things. Like
You get
far
you
too
do
many.
get pretty good at it once you've
Yeah,
done a few.
I really don't. You know what though? I bought an island, like this giant, not giant. It's a decent sized butcher block island, and that was by far the hardest thing because it had moving parts, drawers and stuff.
Ooh, yeah, no.
But I I can't wait for this. I hope they have accessories for cables because I had to walk over to Target and get some picture frame kit whatever and like nail things into the bottom of my desk and use picture wire frames and random sleeves. Like I mean, it looks clean. I'm going to say so myself. But I mean, I would love for it to be a lot more streamlined and I could just go to IKEA and buy this and not have to get a million things off of Amazon.
You need to use more words with P's.
Are you making fun of me?
You were doing lots of plosives, as all, so I could hear the plosives. So I was making fun. Yes, it made me think that we probably need to get you a little little cover thing.
I need a lot. IKEA, would you please make a cover for Yeti?
I'm excited just that, yeah, it would be nice, because they never really design any furniture specific for gamers, especially desks. Like I have the hardest time finding a good desk. So I'm hoping that between IKEA's customization and Ace's Republic of Gamers that we will get a very good customizable desk geared towards people with massive battle stations.
Right? And I'm so upset that in the room that I used to be in, I barely had enough space for the desk that I currently have. And now I have an entire room for my computer. And I have this tiny desk and it's very painful.
You
So
just need to buy another desk like that and put it sideways.
I need a deep computer. I need it to be like feet deep.
I feel that.
So, it's not about the width. We're getting into a new territory.
It's never about the girth. It's always about length.
Tell us about American Girl, this abomination.
So American Girl has released a Pac-Man champion and video game girl American doll, and it's just one of the many ways that people are trying to capitalize on video games. And it, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to be progressive. They're trying to promote women in gaming. They even partnered with I'm gonna find it. They've even partnered with Girls Who Code, which is one of the premier gaming non-for-profits, to help women get into coding, game development. So I respect them for what they're trying to do. The execution, terrible.
I want to cuss in so many absolute ways. This American Girl
Brenna,
doll.
why don't you read us her bio?
I don't even want to. Where is it? Let me
It's
go
the
find it.
second paragraph.
Good Lord, hold on. I can't. These are the creepiest faces ever. According to her official bio, Courtney Moore is growing up in California's San Fernando Valley. She's a total 80s girl whose favorite place is Smiley's Arcade because she loves playing video games. Courtney likes being in control of what happens, which isn't always the case in real life. She and her stepsister Tina don't always get along. And now that Courtney's mom is running for mayor, things are changing at home. It's a whole new game for Courtney, and she's figuring out the rules as she goes.
She's also a Pac-Man champion that wants to be a game developer that in the 80s had a video game coding project because that was totally a thing in the 80s.
What? Yeah.
When computers were barely getting going.
That's not a thing because Pac-Man was its own damn unit. Like, you didn't have a desktop that you worked off of. C++ hasn't been, like, really defined. Like, coding, anyways.
Again, I understand what they're doing. I appreciate it. The execution just could have been a little bit better. Why they needed to go? Why this person had to be part of their historical series? Why they couldn't just do a modern gamer girl?
Which
and
it's
not
like
because that would have been better, because then they could have
So much.
worked to try and redefine the gamer girl image from the
Currently.
from the
Yeah.
hideous thing that it is right now, which when you associate gamer girls, you think of OnlyFans, you think of Belle Delphine. Like, we need to
Did you see? I don't know if you sent me this, but did you see that you can get a customized PC that's water cooled by Belle Delphine's
Oh
bathwater?
yeah, Brandroid sent us that. It was it was in our Discord chat. I hated
Oh
every ounce of
my
it.
god.
It
Terrifying.
had terrible specs to begin with.
That's fantastic.
Apart from the bathwater that is cooling your system. Gross.
Oh,
Uh,
so nasty.
Developers from several major studios have announced their brand new studio, which is called Star Ward Industries, and it's their first game is coming out in 2021 called Invincible, and it is a first-person single-player sci-fi thriller set in a retro future timeline, which it looks pretty cool. It's very War of the Worlds looking, and I'm kind of here for it. Like, it looks like it could be fun.
It does. It looks like a cartoony Fallout sort of new world type thing, and I like it.
Yeah, and so it will be coming out to Xbox next gen Xbox, so Series X and S, PlayStation 5 and PC on Steam. They already have the Steam listing up for it, so that is exciting to see. Fortnite is going to continue their concert series with their next guest, Anderson .Paak. I don't know who Anderson .Paak is, but
No idea. I kind of do like that they are doing these concerts, which is a little cool, but the fact that it's Fortnite, not so much.
it is a very cool concept. I will give them that, and it's definitely, you can definitely create a different experience in a video game because you can create this whole virtual world for your
Right.
concert. So you can do a lot of cool stuff, like that first one they did with the Travis Scott. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like, then you put the fact that you're in Fortnite and your character, it was that, yeah. So
Yeah.
cool concept, but that will happen on. Oh, I guess it just happened Sunday, happened today. Yeah.
Well,
So
whenever you're listening, Sunday.
yeah, but there'll be repeats of it, so you can go check it out. Oculus is making lots of changes with the announcement of the Oculus Quest 2. They have made some major partnerships with Ubisoft and have announced Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell will both be coming to the Oculus as exclusive games. And they had a whole bunch of other like partnerships that they're working on. It's pretty ambitious. They're really trying to make a name for themselves in the VR universe, which is pretty dominated by Vive and Steam. And maybe we have to pick up an Oculus Quest. I mean, I don't like that I have to register it with my Facebook account to play video games.
Yeah, I don't either, but if I can play Beat Saber in any way, shape, or form,
And it's
I'm ready.
$2.99, like out of the box. Like if that's $2.99, like out of the box, I can play games like Beat Saber and all that. That's
I mean, we got to get you a new PC, but if your PlayStation will run it just fine.
I wonder if they're gonna do if the PlayStation VR will be compatible with the PS5. That's a good question.
I feel like they would make it.
That would be a good thing for them to maybe mention in a PlayStation 5 conference.
Hey, you think maybe?
Recently, we talked about Rocket League transitioning over to Epic Games. Well, now there's a bit of a kerfuffle. So when you go to launch Rocket League on Steam, it redirects you to the Epic launcher, which you have to sign in, make an account, and you have to add friends on Epic, which is unfortunate. I definitely thought that this was just going to be more of a I thought it was going to be just you could keep playing on Steam because it's crossplay, but I don't like this kind of being forced to go from one game client to another game client, especially when it's not that company's game client. Like I I don't like it, but I can understand like if I launch Rainbow Six and going to Ubisoft's client, working through that. I can understand that. It's Ubisoft's game. They want, their little client to be a part of it. But yeah, going from Steam to Epic and having to use Epic is I don't like that. That might be the end of Rocket League for me.
I mean, did you play it to begin with?
Oh yeah, I love Rocket League. It was so much fun.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I didn't really play Rocket League.
It's because you don't have
but
friends.
This guy.
It's definitely a game you fire up with the boys. You put together a squad and you get on there and stop.
Once again, I am glad we don't televise the video.
Yeah, it was a fun game. I definitely did not continue playing it. I would say it was like Fall Guys, where it was really hot for a minute. Everybody was playing it. It was like the fun game to sit down and play with your friends, or even jump online and play. But it faded pretty quick for most people. It still has a decent following.
I mean, there was a professional league, but if I see, I don't know either. If I see another meme about Fall Guys or Among Us, if I see another Among Us meme, I'm gonna lose it. I actually am.
It's pretty out of control. Nintendo announced that they're officially discontinuing the 3DS. No real surprise after its 9-year run and more than 75 million units sold. It just seems the natural way with the Nintendo Switch.
I mean, the
and now,
Switch, yeah.
now them having the Switch Lite, which is only $200, which that was the 3DS at that point. So makes total sense. J.K. Rowling is not involved in any way with the new Harry Potter video game. Warner Brothers and the developers behind Hogwarts Legacy have been very clear that she is not associated with this game. However, it does take place in the universe she created. So that's good to see, because J.K. Rowling is she's losing it. She fallen off.
Yeah.
She fallen off the loony wagon.
You know what? I guarantee the royalties were changing, and maybe I don't know why she decided to do the things that she did, but before there were hints of people being gay, like Dumbledore and whatnot, there were hints and already things inside the series. Should have just left it at that. Should have actually never said anything about it and just let the fandom be the fandom.
Yeah, the fandom will do whatever they want. The fandom will make characters whatever they want them to be.
I mean, the Rule 34, we've gone in too far on certain series.
I was once messing around with people because I'm one of the few people that has roles that can send text to talk messages. And so I was messing around with some people, and I copied a paragraph of some Harry Potter erotica and pasted it in the text to talk. It was so funny.
Oh my god. Could you imagine? It would take like a line or two. It would take at least one line for you to start understanding.
It started off very mild, and then when it went to like I think the line where it really started escalating was Harry was staring at Hermione's rump. It said rump. That's why it stakes out so clearly in my head. And I was like, oh, and then it just took off from there.
Just took off or just burned to the ground?
Both.
Probably.
So I'm excited. I'm interested to see how this Harry Potter Legacy game will be. I need to see gameplay to see how they're going to work everything out.
It slightly reminds me of like a very PG rudimentary Dark Souls. And so if it's anything like that, I could see it being super cool.
Disney has cast She-Hulk for an upcoming Disney Plus series, and they cast Tatiana Malzani. I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but she is the former star of the big popular show Orphan Black. I think I need to see, the cast. She's definitely a good actress. She won lots of awards for Orphan Black. She's pretty cute looking. But I need to see how she looks as She-Hulk. Her current
I mean,
her current haircut is not good though. We
yeah,
had
I don't
that
know about
discussion.
that. We did have this discussion. That's where the tangents started. But I mean, her facial structure actually looks fairly similar to the comic. And I could see it working, but why the hell didn't we get like a really just buff, massive chick?
Hey Brendan, do you
Like
want to be
it's
She-Hulk?
I mean, I need to gain like 10 pounds. Oh my god, Jamie. I'm 127.
I think that's the
Oh,
lowest you've ever been in a long time.
it's the lowest I've been in like 3 years.
Yeah, since I've known you.
Yeah. It's bad.
Quarantine.
Anyway, I know. So, yeah, like let's get some huge, very muscular chick in here. Why not? It's She-Hulk. If you have any opportunity to get like a just jacked chick in there, this is the time to do
Like
it.
I'm sure they're going to put her with a trainer and get her jacked.
Just how they put, I mean, I love Gal Gadot, don't get me wrong. Just how they put Gal Gadot with a trainer, I mean, she's a damn twig. She's beautiful and she's super tall and very skinny.
But at least
But that is,
at least Tatiana's pretty curvy. Like she's, she's
yes,
not.
She-Hulk is curvy. I mean, so is Wonder Woman. Let's be honest here. I mean, they drew the crap out of Wonder Woman. Like, she is curvy and muscular like crazy, but She-Hulk is whole. Like,
I definitely think if they were going to do She-Hulk, they should have expanded their casting branch. Maybe even looked up some CrossFit chicks, like to see if maybe some CrossFit women could act.
Against, by the way, second in the games. If you want to know that. She got second in the qualifying rounds.
A lot of people who aren't competing though, so
No, actually, this is a conversation for later.
Yeah.
Anyways, we like the CrossFit.
yes. There is a new Johnny Silverhand statue. It is 13.3 inches tall with a full LCD panel, speaker system that will play the exclusive Cyberpunk soundtrack, and the screen is also loaded with various media and screensavers from the Cyberpunk game that will play and rotate. And you can pick up this very well designed, beautiful statue for the low price of $900.
You know, I want to do it. I really do. If I had the money, if it was, I think I said this before, $500, I would probably do it. But also, I know the media that they preloaded it on was that gift that you got if you downloaded whatever the digital media. I guarantee
I'm
you
sure it
that's
will
it.
have other things from in-game.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, it's a little out of my price range. Just a little. I don't have an extra $900 laying around.
If you also order it through Pure Arts, who is making the statue, you will get Johnny Silverhand dog tag necklace, like his actual dog tag necklace that you can.
I don't know if that makes it more appealing for me. I feel like this stupid ass little, damn it, this stupid little necklace is not gonna make me want to buy this $900. I mean, that's pretty big. It's a foot. It's just over a foot tall.
I haven't cussed at all, and you've cussed like 4 times
Twice.
that I can already count.
Twice.
Uh,
If you count damn, we're gonna.
So, we all know that Donald has banned TikTok and WeChat, which is Tencent companies from the US. Well, he's not stopping there. He wants Tencent gone for good, and so his next target is any video game company that Tencent has a share in. That the Treasury/Justice Department has issued CIFIS documents, which are like basically like Treasury Department search warrants. They're like notifications that they're going to be conducting an investigation, and they want you to make your financials available to them for them to go through, and then they'll audit stuff. And so they want, basically the ultimate goal is to get Tencent divested out of all these companies and basically out, which, I'm here for it. Tencent is Satan. But I don't know if it's actually practical or possible or legal for that matter. But,
Yeah, you run into problems where if they do, we were talking about this earlier, if they do get Tencent out of that company, they have to be paid out of their shares.
Yeah, Tencent
In which,
owns some of these companies. And then when
yeah,
you look at companies like Riot Games where Tencent actually owns the company, like what do you do there? You're just like, hey, we're outie. Or is the
yeah,
US government gonna divest them? Like, are we just gonna give Tencent $22 billion and be like GTFO?
yeah. By the way, they estimated that off of the American market and what they own in video games, they get $22 billion, which is a grand total of 7% of their total earnings.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff. We could rant about Tencent for a while, but we're not going to.
I already did earlier. I got my fill out.
I know. And it wasn't even like it was very intelligent. It was just us ranting. Disintegration, which was a shooter created by one of the heads of Halo. It was like this weird like RPG, like RTS, FPS combo shooter. It had a single player game and a multiplayer component. The single player was pretty well received, but the multiplayer just failed to take off at all. So they are beginning the full shutdown of their multiplayer. They've removed the in-game store, and it will conclude with the full removal of multiplayer on November 17th. The game will still be available for purchase. And the single-player campaign will be unaffected, but it's always tough to see when a game just doesn't hit the mark and they have to roll it back. But he was very fond of robots and jackets. There's lots of robots and jackets.
It's an interesting combination. I like robots and jackets, so I put robots and jackets.
I mean, have you ever seen a robot wearing a jacket? No, you haven't. So how do you know?
Biffy. What do you mean, Chappie? I've watched Chappie with Diane Ward.
He never
So
wore
good.
a jacket.
Didn't he? I'm pretty sure he wore chains and a jacket.
Yeah, he wore chains. He didn't wear a jacket.
He would have looked spiffy in a jacket.
He would have robot in a jacket. See, I'm telling you. We also had Night City Wire episode 3, and again, there wasn't like, it's mostly just lore they're really telling us at this point, not so much like content. So the biggest focus of this Night City Wire was all of the gangs that are in Night City, which between the gangs and the corporations, that's some of the two biggest things in Cyberpunk, is they're always warring with each other and within themselves. And so they talked about how you can interact with all the different gangs, how your decisions can have short-term or long-term consequences. So you want to choose your friends wisely. So some of the games they listed were the cyberware harvesting scavs, the chrome sucking maelstrom, the honor focused Valentinos, the Second Amendment obsessed 6th Street gang, the mysterious voodoo boys, and the absolute unit animals, as well as the black market bargaining tiger claws, and the female focused moxies or moxes. There's no I in there. That would be moxes. So as you traverse Night City, protect your neck.
Right. I mean, this is the way to do it, I think. For a game to say, they hyped it up, obviously, with their promos, releasing Johnny Silverhand, and that's Keanu Reeves, and then building everything up. We have these great people that you like, showing all of the gameplay, showing all of the factions, showing Night City, and seeing what it is. We know what this game is, but they can release lore and they can release little tidbits afterwards that keep us excited and engaged. Not random little bits of gameplay or random little bits of this tiny function. Give us the entire game. Let us see what it is, and then you can fill our excitement with this lore, which is the way to do it. Anyways, I am concerned though.
How so?
Because the fact that the minimum requirements for this and the recommended requirements, my graphics card is very close to the recommended, which I like to be way above recommended, and I fear.
I mean, how do you think I feel? I am like at recommended.
You are at recommended, so this is not good.
Yeah, so they released the specs, and the recommended specs, which is the one to focus on, Windows 10 this is for PC. Windows 10, Intel i7 or AMD Ryzen 3. I got AMD Ryzen 5, so I'm good to go there. Memory, 12 gigabytes of RAM. I got 16, good to go there. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060, 6 gigabyte. That's exactly what I have. Or AMD Radeon R9 Fury or higher. DirectX 12 and 70 gigs of storage. The 70 gigs of storage is very nice considering that's a third the size of Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Also, what is this? Who has 12 gigs of RAM?
A lot of people do.
That's random.
It's very common in pre-built systems. They do do 812. And so they'll do like either a stick of 8 and a stick of 4, or they'll do like 3 sticks of 4. Yeah.
My OCD is just off the charts with that.
Or they do 2 sticks of 4 and 2 sticks of 2. They can do all sorts of things. But that's going to do it for this week. Upcoming game releases. Last week we had Crysis Remastered, Earth Defense Force 5, Super Mario All-Stars 3D, and WWE 2K Battlegrounds. This coming week we have the Untitled Goose Game coming to Steam, as well as its co-op update. We have Serious Sam 4. We have Troll Hunters, Defenders of Arcadia, and Mafia Definitive Edition. So, as always, check the website. That's kind of the hub for everything if you want to keep up with what's going on with us and figure out where we are at. We're working on the YouTube now. That's the next big thing. We've got kind of a secret project that we've been talking about the past week. So we're not sharing anything about that, but we just want to let you know that there's something in the works. So buckle your pants, and as always, thanks.
Please keep them buckled. Don't ever unbuckle them.
As always, thank you for listening to the show, and thank you to all those who listen internationally. You guys are absolutely awesome. We hit #1 in video game podcasts today in the Dominican Republic. We were #6 in leisure podcasts. And we were like number 100 in all podcasts in the Dominican Republic. So popping off in the DR, you like to see it. And then, Ireland, we're always trending in Ireland.
Why?
So
I do not know. I love it.
Because we're the best. The Irish are our people.
Your people for damn sure. And I will back the crap out of it.
So thank you always to our listeners. You guys are awesome. And thank you to those who support us the extra mile on Patreon. Dr. Brandroid, Durka, Poolfire93, Miller, Cyber Shorty, and Old Stray Dog. You guys are awesome. You can follow us on social media. We're all over the place. Best place to find us, though, is our website, DL Gaming News, that has links to actually everything. And then our Discord is also on there. That's our community center. We have links. You can chat with other listeners. You can play games with all of us. It's the place to be. But if you do want to follow us on Instagram, you can find us individually at DL_Jameson.
And at DL_Mother Goose.
And that'll do it. Good luck. Have fun, everybody.
And remember, keep your goose loose.
Hey Guardians, we are the Destiny Show Podcast, a weekly podcast about all things Destiny 2. We invite amazing guests from the Destiny community to share their stories and discuss the latest topics from the world of Destiny. Check us out on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, or live on Twitch every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We will see you Starside.
Are you into the Cyberpunk tabletop games or excited for Cyberpunk 2077? Are you looking to brush up on the lore, stay up on all the latest news, and talk about the game when it comes out? Check out the Cyberpunk Lorecast, a show from Robots Radio with me, your host, Robots. We'll go over all the details you need to know about the world, characters, and story of Cyberpunk. Available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.